So, Sarah, just to begin here, and forgive me for being cynical when I see lawyers or talk about themselves on television and what their actual motivation is, but could Cohen be sending a signal to the president and therefore be fishing for a pardon from the president?
Absolutely. I think he's doing a couple things. I think he is sending a signal to the prosecutors in the Southern District of New York that, hey, I am going to cooperate. My loyalty is not with my former boss. I'll do whatever I can to save myself and my family. He's also sending a signal to Trump that maybe you should pay my legal fees. Maybe you should think of a pardon. I mean, I think he's definitely angling a pardon. And it's responsive, really, to what Chris just mentioned with the tweet that I don't think Michael will do that. Here's Michael saying himself that he will go to those lengths if he needs to save his family. So I think it was very significant. For me, it was actually pretty odd because as a lawyer, we don't let our clients go to the media and make a statement like this. It could be used against them. And certainly to the extent that he's made inconsistent statements previously about the Stormy Daniels payment and other matters, those inconsistencies can also be brought in to be used against him. So I feel like he was winging it. I think he's in between counsel. I think his new attorneys are not on board yet, and he's just sort of sending out a message.
But let me ask you a question, because that was going to be my next question. Would you ever advise a client to do this? But we're seeing a lot of this. I mean, we're seeing Rudy Giuliani, make comments that you wouldn't normally hear from someone's lawyer. We're seeing the president make comments about ongoing legal proceedings that you wouldn't normally see someone who's the subject of those proceedings to make publicly. So you got a lot of lawyers doing this now. I mean, do they sense that there is a different kind of environment now that you can gain some ground by fighting this in the court of public opinion?
I think because there has been such a strong case in the court of public opinion that I think those normal boundaries that we have in place and things that are normally not advisable, that these clients or these individuals that are being investigated are sort of going beyond the boundaries of what's normal. But I also think we're dealing with interesting characters. I mean, we're dealing with Donald Trump, who's unhinged. We're dealing with Michael Cohen, who has just been smeared by Michael Avenatti, by Donald Trump distancing himself. So these are not your average clients that the normal rules would apply to.
Yeah, but normal rules. I mean, we could just let's just forget that phrase forevermore. In terms of the president's own legal liability or legal danger here. I mean, well, one of the keys is all these documents and files that were taken from Cohen's office and hotel room, etc. More than 1 million documents, and I assume some in electronic form. Around 2% so far has been deemed possibly privileged. So you got the vast majority of it that the court can go through and find some stuff, and presumably there are communications there between the president and Michael Cohen. This exposes the president, possibly.
It sure does, and I understand that the Trump defense team is now reviewing those documents that relate to Donald Trump, that were between Donald Trump and Michael Cohen, the communications, to determine whether, in fact, there is a privilege that applies or not, the attorney-client privilege. And so I anticipate that there might also be some litigation around this issue, because you've got the special master saying these are not privileged. And of course, Donald Trump would want everything to be privileged so that it doesn't get used and he doesn't get dragged into this. So it'd be interesting to see how much further this investigation will be delayed until these issues with the documentation, the privilege issue, is resolved.
Take that one to the bank. There may be further litigation on these issues. Sarah Azari, criminal defense attorney, thanks very much.